Hi everybody, my name is Anahita. I'm from Guwahati, Assam, and I got 961 out of 1000. I was also AIR rank 3 in ST category, and I got 100 percentile in political science. I found out CUET Mock while I was doing my research on where I should start my CUET prep. I found about it on Reddit. A lot of people were discussing which was the best site, and I chose CUET Mock, and I'm just so grateful that I did, as I don't think that any other site is that efficient or has as much material as CUET Mock does. Something that I really enjoyed about this particular platform was that every time I had a doubt or every time I thought that I was in the right and that the MCQs were wrong, I reached out to them and they were always responsive. They would respond in like one day, max to max. And I really appreciated the fact that there was a genuine human interaction between like the user and the platform. I really appreciated that. I found the mocks to be extremely helpful as there were a lot of EYQs, especially for English. They were extremely useful, and I was very lucky that in my paper, I did get words that were similar to a lot of the PYQs that I practiced, even for my domains in humanities. They were extremely helpful. And especially for subjects like political science and sociology, where there are extra chapters, not in political science, but in sociology, where there are extra chapters, they were extremely helpful in that, as I had no idea where to start. And just doing the mocks was such a great practice for me, especially the CBT platform that they had. It was so user friendly. And while giving the actual exam, I did not feel any sort of like stress, especially regarding time management. I was pretty confident in that arena, at least. For CUET, each and every box and each and every line is important because it's such an unpredictable exam and it's also so new. So we can't really predict what can come. But yeah, I just did line by line, especially for political science, which is what I hope to major in. I really wanted 100% and thankfully I did get it. So for political science, I would just suggest go through the timelines. Like it is extremely, extremely important, and the names of like every important person. I would suggest like making a full notebook for each and every subject. And for English, for vocab, I would suggest just do the PYQs because at a certain point it's up to your luck. But as much as you can prepare, I would suggest using CVT Mock's PYQs, or hoping that your exam is towards the later shifts, because then at least you can find out the words that were used in the exams on the previous days, on the days before your exam. So that also really helped me. But above all, I just like to say a huge thank you to CVT Mock. I mean, without it, I would seriously not get anywhere. Three biggest mistakes. The first one would definitely be being nervous about it. I would just suggest, don't worry too much about not giving a competitive exam and not being able to do it. Because I know a lot of my friends who are just like academic powerhouses who are just so good at studies, but during CUET they got so nervous. I would just suggest keep your head cool because you already know the bulk of the syllabus. Second, I would suggest don't let's just use each and every vocab for English. Like, don't just get a dictionary or get a newspaper and read everything. I mean, like, obviously, reading a newspaper is a great habit, but for English specifically, you need to focus more on the words that have come already and are likely to come rather than just like scouring through the dictionary because that is not helping anybody. And third, I would suggest if you're starting your prep late, there's no point in going through the NCRT over and over and over again if you have less time. I would then suggest focusing mostly on mocks and for sociology, at least I can say there are four extra chapters that comes in CUET but does not come for your board exams. So I would suggest that just get done with these four chapters first because it gets really hard for you to do it later. For political science specifically, I would suggest that just go through the books one by one. I would suggest getting done with the Indian book first, as it has the bulk of like the more dates and all. Remember all like the names of people and the dates, as that is like the most important thing that we don't really focus on during boards. So that is one thing that you're most likely to forget during your CUET exams because you're not used to doing like names and numbers and all that. I would suggest making a diary, like, and just write down all the specific names and timelines. Like, make it sort of like a storybook. Arrange everything in a serial order, in a sequential order, and that will really help. Do it for each and every chapter. And I think during your exams, that is the thing that will help you the most because by the end of your CUET prep, you will know each and every like main point that happens. All you need to know are these key points. These are like the do or die sort of points, like the dates, the years, the names, the sequences. I would also suggest to not like leave out the boxes as that is the most important thing. Almost like I would say 20 to 30% of your political science comes from the timelines and the boxes. God was on my side, I guess, that I found this website and I gave it to all my friends as well. And it has like helped me make my dreams come true of like going to LSR or doing whatever. And I'm just so grateful to have this website because it like unlocked so much of my potential, so much of my confidence through the resources that it offered me. And every time. Oh, another thing I really love about CUET Mock is that when I have a doubt about whether this question is in the syllabus, they've mentioned it below in like their detailed description that this is from pre-rationalized NCERT book or like from the old syllabus. They've explicitly mentioned it, and that just really helps with your confidence because otherwise you just have to go around searching whether it's there in the book or not, and you have to Google. And sometimes Google is inaccurate, but I'm just so grateful to this website. I really like the user interface because it is like so easy to handle, and it is exactly the same as the actual NTA interface, and that is just like extremely useful for somebody like me